So the next thing we're going to talk about is fertilizing and pest control. There are a couple of different ways you can do this. Again, we only do organic here, so everything that goes on our plants is strictly organic and safe for pets in our family. We feel really strongly about this. If that doesn't fit your lifestyle, don't worry about it. There are tons of products out there that you can use. But I'm going to share with you some of the ones that we use on our own crops. So the first one would be neem oil. Neem oil is a fungicide, a miticide, and a pesticide, which is basically all-inclusive. We put it on our trees, we put it on our flowers, we put it on our vegetables. We'll use it on anything that we've got a pest issue, from squash bugs to aphids. It doesn't matter what, we're going to put it on there. Even funguses that we see on things like our tomatoes are going to be treated with this. Another thing we use is diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth is a little bit gory, but it is a powder. If you get the food grade one, it is completely safe, or you can even eat it. It doesn't matter. We use it on our animals, we use it on our crops, and what it basically does is, as the bugs are crawling across it, it's got very sharp particles to it, and it slices their soft bodies up. This has helped us with cucumber beetles, squash bugs, you name it, we've tried it on it, and we've had really great success with it. Another thing you can use is just common dish soap. I know, it sounds weird, but it actually works really well, and we use it in a lot of our dormant sprays for our orchard. You'll find that we're using dish soap. Now, we use things like Castile or other organic brands. If you don't want to use that, it's fine. But again, we only use organic things, and those brands are things that we know are safe. So things like Castile with essential oils is often what we're going to use on our crops. Here in the South, we have a huge problem with squash bugs. So that means our squash and zucchini are always at risk, sadly. So instead of struggling all season long with it, we've actually started using crop covers to cover our squash and zucchini so that the bugs can't actually get on them, and we can actually get squash and zucchini out of them. Now, you can find crop covers in lots of places. We found them on Amazon, we found them from select stores online. It doesn't really matter where you're getting them. They come in fleeces, which will help you protect your crops from frost. They come in nets, which is what we're using because it's just too hot in the South to use the fleece in the summer. So we are actually using the nets on our crops, and we've had great success with them. We're using them on things like brassicas, cabbage, of course our squash, and just anything that really needs a boost before the bugs get to it. So we're actually open ours up after they start blooming so that the bees can get in there and pollinate them, but until then they're shielded from the bugs. So let's move on to fertilizer. Fertilizer is a little bit tricky for a lot of the gardeners out there. We've gotten tons of questions about what do you fertilize your plants with. Fertilizer is something a lot of gardeners struggle with. What do you fertilize your plants with? And it's guaranteed probably the first question that most people ask us. What do I fertilize my plants with? Well, for us the answer is really simple. Compost. We actually have a compost pile set up in the back of our property where we compost food scraps and chicken waste, and even the bedding from our coops all go into our compost pile. We've actually got several posts up on the blog. If you want to start your own compost pile, head over to the blog and check that out. So compost is a great all-organic fertilizer that you can use on anything: flowers, fruit trees, vegetables. It doesn't matter what you're going to use it on. It's safe for everything. Now, it's important to remember that you will use well-rotted, aged manure if you're going to use manure, because fresh manure is very hot and it can burn your plants. And nobody wants to deal with scorched plants. Things like chicken manure, several others can take up to a year to actually process down so it's safe to use in your garden. Well, rabbit and duck is safe to use right away. Another thing we like to use is fish emulsion, and you can probably guess what that is. But it's another organic way to fertilize your plants, and ours love it. We especially use it on our corn and our tomatoes when necessary, but our corn absolutely loves it, and you can see it just grow and grow and grow when we use it on there. Another way to fertilize your plants is using compost in the form of compost tea. So basically you fill a container with water, add a bit of compost, and let it sit. Once it's set for a while, you put it in a sprayer and spray it on your foliage of your plants, which will provide the nutrients from your compost in a foliar spray. Super simple, super easy, and that one is probably the most common one we use out here. Often I'll mix it with a little bit of fish emulsion when our plants are just struggling a little bit, especially if they've had bug issues. That is the way I like to give them that little boost.